What do you think about the whole modern dating process? How do you find a partner that you can stay with for the rest of your life?
So we are absolutely doing it wrong. And, but there is a way you can do it. And I am such a fan of the psychologist, Tai Tashiro. I adore him. He is brilliant. He's lovely. He's also very humble. Just a wonderful salt of the earth guy. I'm going to tell you a very true story here. Okay.
Let's go.
I was in a bad relationship and I was at a psychology conference with my partner at the time. We were both at this conference and we were sitting in a lecture hall there for Tai Tashiro to do his talk that day on his phenomenal research on relationship satisfaction and dating. And I was sitting next to him and we'd been, it was just always unpleasant on trips. There were always fights. And we're sitting there and Tai Tashiro starts talking about his research and how he found that most people are, signing this agreement, getting married, and doing it based on the love endorphins. And really only about 35% of anybody who's married is actually happy. And he said, so then, and
That's a pretty low number.
Exactly. But here's what I love about Tai Tashiro is he didn't stop there. He wanted to know what those people who were happy had in common. And then same thing with the people who were unhappy. He found a couple fascinating patterns. So the couples who were happy tended to rate their partners higher in 3 different traits. And I love talking about this because if you are somebody who can follow instructions, you can find this. I mean, very easily. Those 3 traits tend to be conscientiousness. Okay. And I love the word conscientiousness because it's not just kindness. Kindness is a good way to think of it, but you can be kind and kind of be a pushover, and that's not attractive. Conscientiousness is smart, attentive. It's somebody who reads into a text message and thinks, wow, she was making herself very vulnerable there. Mm-hmm. That's conscientiousness.
I like how you just threw in a compliment.
No, but
Appreciate it.
It's true. It's a certain intelligence, awareness, and attunement.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, conscientiousness is motivated. So you can't be on your ass all day and be conscientious because then you can't meet the needs that you anticipate about the person. So conscientious is that guy who drives the car around in the rainstorm so his wife's hair doesn't get met. It's my husband who checks my alarm for me every morning because he knows I'm terrible at time management, and he makes sure that I set it a reasonable amount of time before my first meeting and not the 20 minutes I think I need. Yep. And then he'll come wake me up with a cup of coffee. That is ultimate conscientiousness. And it is true. I mean, I will tell you, as somebody who's with a conscientious partner, your love increases over time as you continue to feel grateful and admiring of that person. The second one, you want somebody who is low in a big 5 personality trait called neuroticism. You want somebody emotionally stable in a way. Now, this doesn't mean you can't have somebody who doesn't get the blues or struggle with mental health issues. Trust me, Tai is with somebody who, I'm all over the place. But you want somebody who kind of owns their shit and isn't going to just be emotionally unstable all over. You want somebody who is generally happy and has some life satisfaction. Having a partner who has serious, not mental health issues, but unmitigated emotional distress and instability is really hard on the partner. And it's really hard on other family members, including children, if you have children. So it's just a predictor of happiness.
So there's a certain threshold of chaos that if you exceed it, it's going to be destructive to a long-term relationship.
A perfect description.
But then
about chaos. Not the mystery chaos you love with your little poet brain.
Yeah.
I'm talking more like just somebody who there's just no peace.
Yeah.
There's no peace. There's a problem with everything. Everything becomes more difficult. Going to a party is a chore. You don't know if they're going to have a meltdown at the party or how many complaints about your friends or everything is a problem. So you want somebody who has just some resiliency, I think is a good term for it. Some flexibility.
Some spice is okay, but not too much.
Flexibility, resiliency, easygoing.
Yeah.
Okay. The third is really interesting, I think. So he found that having a partner with sort of moderate adventurousness, not high adventurousness, actually leads to greater satisfaction. And the reason for that is high adventurousness equals novelty seeking, shiny new things. And so if you're in a monogamous relationship, if that is what's important to you, it's going to be very hard for a partner who is novelty seeking to be faithful. So that will cause a lot of pain. But also, novelty seeking people tend to always have new projects, new interesting things. And so their attention is drawn away from the relationship. And so you can just feel pretty neglected or unimportant.
But a little bit.
But you want a little bit of adventurousness. So you want your person to be sort of self-motivated, individuated, have their own interests, not completely dependent on you. But also, I mean, low adventurousness is not a bad thing. Ultimately, what you're getting with low to moderate adventurousness is that rock, that feeling of stability, that home. And I made some references earlier, like when you're 70 and you turn to your partner, do you want him to be hot? Or, for instance, my dad has dementia right now. And my husband turned to me on the plane. We were all coming back from a trip and where we really saw how severe it's getting. And he just turned to me. He knew how much pain I was in, even though I wasn't showing it. And he said, I want you to know that if it comes to a point where we need to take care of your dad, he needs to live with us, you don't even need to ask. I am 100% on board and will help. And those are the things that matter, that home feeling. And technically, that's a trait that's sort of my husband caring so much about family and home and taking care of things that matter. Those are things that tend to be associated with that low to moderate adventurousness, somebody who really cares about simple things and family.
I wonder if those three things are something you can work on. Conscientiousness, you can proactively observe yourself. Mm-hmm. And, do it more regularly.
Right.
Neuroticism might be the hardest one, probably.
I think so. Well, I mean, I was pretty neurotic in my early 20s.
And when you wake up to it, maybe if you're self-aware about it, maybe you'll be able to control it.
Yeah, I think self-awareness is key. I think that's why I love therapy so much. I think life is about growth and our potential for growth and to make our own lives better, to make the lives of others better, to serve others, to heal. All of us are this collective healing. And I think we're all capable of growth.
And the same with adventurousness. I'm somebody that's pretty low on adventure, but I keep throwing myself out there just for the extra adventure. So you can grow in that way.
Yes. And I am high in adventurousness, and I was not really ready to settle down. I was married earlier in my 20s, but I would say that I am much more prepared to be in a committed long-term relationship now in my 40s than I was when I was younger.
But in that same way, for me, I like to connect myself to high adventure people so that it brings me out. It's like they're a horse and I get to ride them.
Yeah.
Or something.
And that's the thing. So high adventure people are attractive. They're interesting, exciting, but it can be a world of heartbreak because, you're only under that spotlight for a few minutes and then they're on to the next shiny thing.
Yeah, but heartbreak is part of love. But that might be the drug thing that you were talking about.